All right, welcome into another edition of the Tommy Mac Podcast here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. We're also live on 1010XL's Facebook page, so you can check us out there as well. Great to be alive. Hope you feel the same. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone had a good one. A little chilly this morning, kind of like the chill around Jacksonville. Gosh dang, we're going to get into all that. The Jags losing again. Dave Caldwell getting fired. I'm even going to talk about a little bit about Lot J Stadium upgrade connections. But before we do that, I want to tell you real quick about Jay McGillis. It is the J Fund Radiothon here on 1010XL today, December the 1st. Jay was a teammate of mine at Boston College. And I'm not just saying this because he passed. And by the way, when he passed, it was one of the saddest days of my life. I know that. He was a young man that attracted leukemia and died 6 months later. Just a great kid. Good egg, as we say up north. Great football player. Was very tough, but off the field, very quiet, very humble. Loved his family, loved his girlfriend. Was always home from Brockton, which is nearby. Anyway, if you can donate, please do. 641-1010. You can go to tcjfund.org as well. All the money's raised go to the families here in Jacksonville that help with electric bills, mortgage payments, car payments, health insurance, premiums, whatever it is, they help you. I think 94% of all monies raised go to the families right here in Northeast Florida. Hey, we need the research. We got to find a cure for all of it. But we also, in the meantime, got to take care of the ones that are going through it. So, very proud to say that Jay McGillis was a very good friend of mine, a great teammate of mine at Boston College, but his legacy lives on forever due to Tom Coughlin and the Tom Coughlin J Fund. I just saw Kelly Coughlin, who runs the J Fund, in the hallway, so great to see her. Nonetheless, great day to be alive, right? Count your blessings, no doubt about it. All right, let's look around the NFL. We'll start with our own division. Texans beat the Lions. Texans, fire the coach, fire the GM. They find ways to win recently. And then the Tennessee Titans beating the Colts. That was a big game, head-to-head in the AFC South for first place. And Titans come on top on that one. They're going to be a tough out, but so is Indy. I think Indy's going to be a tough out in the playoffs as well. We see the Miami Dolphins beating the Jets. I hope the Jets, win one. my Jet friends are like, please win a game, would you? Win another game. We need a little bit of a cushion. But Miami, Brian Flores, former Boston College linebacker, by the way, got his team to 7-4, doing a great job. The Chiefs and the Bucks went toe-to-toe. That was fun. Gosh, that Mahomes. He's got so many weapons, don't get me wrong, but man, he's fun to watch. And look, I'm a fan of watching him and watching him compete. Brady struggled at times, looked good at times. We'll see how that all works out for him. They're still in it as well. Seattle and Philly last night, man, at Metcalf, DK, I love his fight, too, man. I love Chippy. What's funny? My wife, Christine, I'm going to call her out. She loves watching football, but she loves it when there's a fight. She just, because everyone gets riled up. She loves that passion. I'm kind of the same way. It looks like the Ravens and Steelers are going to play tomorrow night, which will be Wednesday the 2nd. Of course, the Ravens going through an outbreak on their team. I don't want to really talk about the Giants. They're leading the NFC East at 4-7. Minnesota's creeping up now at 5-6. It's going to be interesting how this whole rest of the year plays out. Okay, to the Jags losing to Cleveland. Groundhog Day, huh? Play well, play tough, don't give up, and then lose, Bad decision on the 2-point. It was stupid. Sorry, it was. You're at home. You can. Okay, they're 1-9. What difference does it make? Well, why not just kick the field goal? Are you expecting not to score any more points? Are you expecting your defense, to give up just a field goal? You couldn't stop the run. It wasn't like you were, you had this momentum like you were just crushing them. It was a tight ball game. And you go for 2 when you didn't have to. And then you had to at the end. And, we all saw how that ended up. That was bad. Run defense. Look, I'm no rocket scientist, but I played run defense, and the cutback, it's like backs use the cutback more than anything because they get everybody's momentum going one way, and then boom, they cut back. Well, all it takes is my backside guys. Excuse me, my backside guys, whether that's a safety, a linebacker, or a combo, my defensive end, is to slow play that. Have patience. You don't have to go flying to the ball. And look, the trajectory of the back tells you everything. If the back bows out to one side, he's looking to cut back. When he makes more of a straighter angle front side, and I know it might look funny on the video, he's going to the outside. If he has to cut back, that's where he's got to stop and cut back. It's not a planned cutback. So you can tell by the trajectory of how that back's angle is and whether he has a chance of cutting it back. And getting down in the wash where they just push you down, it doesn't work. You know, Chubb, 7.6 yards a carry. That guy's a great running back. Don't get me wrong. He's not an easy out by any means. You know, and then you got Hunt. But he was at 6.2. Your run defense, not good. Hey, I did hear that Devon Hamilton, he's going on IR, but he's going to be okay. So that's good. That's good. I never want to see guys get hurt. You know, I kid around about, hurting them for the day, which I'm okay with. If long as they're out for the day and they come back, it's not a career thing. I'm okay. I'm talking about opponents, not our own players. But I'm glad to hear Devon's okay, or going to be okay. But those guys, the run defense was terrible. You can't do it. And then you make Baker Mayfield look like a total stud. He struggled before this game, big time. Now, granted, they kept talking about the bad weather, and that does affect you. It does. There's no doubt about that, but he really struggled throwing the ball. And he still struggled a little bit. It's funny. For a guy that does so many commercials, he's not really that great of a player. And his commercials are funny. He could be, maybe he does commercials later in life. And they're funny, and he's good at them. But I'm like, man, you're not even like the darling of the league. Why are you even, you're at below average to below average QB right now. He's not impressive. We made him look good. We tried, great. We tried. I will say, our young DBs and Josiah Scott, I think that was good get him in the mix. I think we got a chance with some of those corners. I still want another corner. No doubt about that. But I thought, look, there's some silver lining a little bit, in it. You definitely, look, Colin Johnson stood out. I want to see more of him, especially with Glennon at the helm because they probably hooked up a lot in practice throughout the year, So I want to see Colin Johnson a little bit more. Glennon was fine. He was fine. You kind of knew what you were going to get. Our O-line was okay in the run game. James Robinson had a beast of a game. He's so good. He's not built like Marcus Allen, but he runs smooth like Marcus Allen in my book, and he's always going forward. Tough guy to bring down. He could be the rookie of the year, especially on offense. Excuse me. A little tickle going on. But anyway, you talk about some young players. I like seeing that. My O-line, once again, pass protection at crucial times. Excuse me. Pass protection at crucial times. And it breaks down. Once again, it breaks down. It wasn't terrible all game long, but when you need them to stop the opposing rusher, they just don't get it done. And I don't know. We're going to talk about next year later on, but you got to figure out this offensive line. There's no doubt about it. You got to get better up front. You do. But run blocking, they did good. So I got to give credit where credit's due. And again, Glennon was fine. He made some really good throws. The 2 touchdowns. Eifert was a phenomenal throw and catch. And then to Colin Johnson, great timing, great throw. Did a fine job. Going for 2, cost you the game. Made no sense unless you're trying to lose. But I don't believe that. But that made no sense. I don't know if that's bravado or false bravado or what the hell that is. But your Jags lose 27-25, 10 in a row. The slide continues. With no end in sight. We'll talk about their upcoming game later in the week. But, I I just look, you gotta, to me, blow up the whole thing. It's just over. And Dave Caldwell gets fired after the game. Look, his record isn't very good as a general manager. You could pinpoint different things, what worked, what didn't work. He missed on too many guys. He also hit on a lot of guys. So, but when you miss on those first round guys, especially quarterback, it hurts you, and it sets your franchise back, your organization back. I was talking to Hacker on the way in, one of the personalities here, 1010, and I'm like, why not? Because to me, it's like, why him? If you're going to do anything, fire Marone. In my book, I mean, look, I don't, and for the record, I'll say it again. There's no extra credit for playing hard. There's no extra credit. You're supposed to play hard. And that doesn't come from the coach. That comes from the locker room. The peer pressure in the locker room that says, hey, we still got to play hard. Hey, we still have a job. Hey, if we don't play hard, we may not have a job. That comes from the locker room. You don't get extra credit as a coach because your team stinks, but yet they play hard. That's Pop Warner stuff in my book. It's not a knock on Doug. It's a knock on everybody else that keeps saying, well, they play hard. It doesn't mean anything to me. You're supposed to play hard. But nonetheless, why now with Dave Caldwell? And Hacker says, well, I think maybe the 100 losses thing to Shad Khan, got him all pissed off or something like that. Like, I don't know. Whatever. Look, I wish Dave Caldwell well. I got to know Dave. He's a really nice guy. He's a good family man. He'll bounce back. It's a tough job. It's tough to come back, especially when your coaching decisions. And Tom was part of that, of course. Tom Coughlin was. Your personnel decisions. It's not an easy gig. It's not. I put a quote out on Twitter, and I truly believe this. It's not, when you're building a team in the NFL, even college, and to some degree high school. The lower you get, the more my way, the highway it just works. I don't think it does in high school, but lower than, Pop Warner, whatever. They just want to play football. But as you get up, you've got to pick not just great talent. You've got to pick great talent that matches the philosophy of your head coach, the way he does things, the way he runs his football team, the way he coaches, the way he disciplines. It's got to be a match. It can't be, fitting a square peg into a round hole type thing. It's got to be a match. Let me give you an example. I'll give you a couple examples. Tom Coughlin first. So when he brought us together, he was hard on us. He was very hard on us. He was tough. Physically, mentally, emotionally, he'd give you, it was just, you had to be on your game. And practice counted. Practice very much counted, especially during camp. Really anything counted. Everything did. You had to give it your all, pretty much every single time. And if he yelled at you, he yelled at you. And when I got yelled at, so I was one of the guys who'd be like, my dad yelled at me. Make me want to prove him wrong. Especially when he yelled at me about, you didn't play well, you didn't rebound well, you didn't, whatever. So when Coughlin yelled at me, I prove him wrong. Whatever. Yell at me all you want. I'll show you. And then he would. He'd come up to you after practice like, that was a better day. That kind of stuff, which was always, made you want to do it again. But he had a bunch of guys like that. But what did he do when he drafted R.J. Soward? And I'm not putting Tom on the spot here. He knows this. R.J. Soward had a problem. R.J. Soward was a very gifted college receiver out of USC. But he had issues. And the team knew he had issues. And Tom had a quote when he drafted him in the first round. He said, he's never played for a coach like me. And I remember sitting there going, man, that's going to backfire. Because you can't change somebody. You can't change a player. So you look at these teams like Pittsburgh and the Pats and Green Bay. They draft a certain kind of player that can handle their coach. There's a match there. If there's not a match, you're going to have issues like we've seen here in Jacksonville. I'm going to give you two more examples. Another example, Gus Bradley, who is a great guy and is a great defense coordinator. But as a head coach, his philosophy was, I'm going to let the players be men and police themselves. Well, you can't do that with a young team. I mean, remember when you were young? Are you kidding me? And I don't care if you're playing in the NFL or not, 21, 22, 23, 24, you've got certain things going on. And, you're not a veteran. When you get fourth year, fifth year in, You're a veteran. And you know how to, you don't even need your coach, to be honest with you. They just give me the game plan. So if I'm going to police myself, then I've got to have a bunch of veterans in that locker room that can really take control of that. And then the third one is Doug Marrone. He flip-flops on his team's identity and his philosophy pretty much every year. So what is it? What is his philosophy? Because one year he's hard, one year he's soft, one year he's in between. You can't be like that. So you got to find the talent that matches this coaching style. We'll see who the coach is next year. I don't know if I agree with the timing of firing Dave Caldwell, but hey, the record's there, and it's time to move on. It's time to move on from the whole staff, as I've said before. All right, I'm going to wrap it up with this Lot J Stadium upgrades. You know what pisses me off about it? And I want the Lot J development, and I want the upgrades. But if you're focused on winning, it'd have been a lot easier to go to the city to ask. And the fans, the people here, you'd still get a percentage that would be against it, that would give you grief. But the majority of us are like, hey, man, we support a winner. Yeah, get them the upgrades, for crying out. I thought the pools were the upgrades. They didn't work. If you concentrate on winning, everything comes together. That's it for this time around on the Tommy Mac podcast. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook Live. And, of course, you can listen to it right here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Have a great day, everybody.